Hello, peace seekers. This is Saniqua White dropping in to give you a piece of my mind that will hopefully give you some peace of mind. Today, I want to talk a little bit about coping strategies and your coping skills and when they're not working. Sometimes we run into situations where we're trying different things or we're trying what used to work and it's not working. Maybe you have gotten way more stressed than you were before when they did work, or maybe you have tipped over into anxiety or depression or something more severe, which may be why the same coping strategy or skill that you were previously using is not working right now. Maybe life has just gotten a little bit farther out of hand. And so I want to talk about some tips or things that you might be able to do if and when your coping strategies possibly fail you. Ask yourself some different questions like what I just said. Is your life a little bit more stressful than it was previously? Have you tipped over into depression or anxiety? Are you constantly worried? Are you constantly on edge? Are you having troubles getting out of bed, doing your regular things that you would normally do, taking a shower, eating? Has anything changed in your life that wasn't there previously? If that has happened, what I want you to do is reach out. You probably need help from a coach or a counselor or someone who is a professional, because if that is the case, you may not be able to get out of the situation on your own. And it's always a good idea to have mental health checkups anyway, to make sure that you are functioning at the level that you believe you're functioning on and you're not actually deceiving yourself or believing that you're in a better place than you really are. But I want you to think about, okay, if my coping strategies are failing me, am I actually engaging them the way I did before, like exactly when they were working, or did I change something? If you're doing it exactly the same, then it could be that your life is just a little bit more stressful or chaotic than it used to be. And one thing that you can do is turn up the intensity on that same coping strategy that you've been using. So for me, my number one coping strategy is swimming. So if I feel like swimming isn't working, then if I was going twice a week, I would turn it up a notch to 3 times a week and see if that helps. Because maybe if the level of intensity of the issue has amplified, then I'm going to have to amplify my level of intensity with coping. And a lot of times with me, it's temporary. The issue or the event or the situation is temporary. My life might be a little bit more stressful because I'm working on a book project. Or it might be a little bit more stressful because I had more clients this week than last week. So oftentimes it's temporary for me, and it's going to subside. So I can do something like that, like turn up my coping strategies just one notch to help me get through that period. If that period is extended, even if I know that there's an end to it, that intensity level increase may still help because I know that there's an end to it. If you're in a situation where you don't see an end to that intense level of whatever you're feeling, stress, anxiety, whatever, you need to reach out for help, because there has to be an end to it. But if you're feeling like there's not, then that means there's probably a problem mentally or emotionally where you need someone to help you work through it with you. If that's not the case, if you do see an end to it, then try that. Try turning up the intensity on your coping skills a notch. And that is also only if your coping strategy or skill is in the positive category. I did a video on that just recently. So if you didn't see the video on positive or negative coping strategies, go back and look at that. So this only will work if the intensity increase will only work well if your coping strategy or skill is on the positive side. If your coping strategy or skill is on the negative side, meaning it's something like alcohol, drugs, sex, eating, shopping, gambling, something like that, no sir, no ma'am, do not turn up the intensity on that. You need to reach out for help if those are the coping skills or strategies that you are using. Those, I hope that those fail you so that you can learn how to replace those things with positive coping strategies. So reach out for help. But if you are in a situation where the event or the period in your life that you're in is temporary, but you do need to amplify, intensify your coping strategy, do that. If that is not something that you either can do or something that you find that doesn't work, another tip might be to switch out or change up what coping strategy you're using. So if my first coping strategy of swimming doesn't work, then I might amplify or amp up or intensify my writing. Maybe I haven't been journaling enough. Maybe I have too much in my headspace and I'm overwhelmed because I haven't released some of my stuff, and then I'm constantly intaking other people's stuff. So I might need to turn up my journaling time. Maybe I need to start on another book project. Maybe something along those lines might be helpful for me because writing is my number 2 go-to coping strategy. If that doesn't work, then I go to my number 3, which is almost kind of like zoning out. And sometimes you have to do that and give yourself a mind break so that you can reset and recharge. So that may mean taking a day off work, meaning no clients, no videos, no content creation, nothing. Just kind of vegging out and allowing my body and my mind to relax and reset and see how I feel the next day. And pretty much those are my coping strategies. Now, for you, I've never had a time where if I went through all 3 of those that it didn't work. I've never experienced that. So what I'm telling you now is if you experience that, if you go through your top 3 coping strategies, and yes, I always recommend you have at least 3 coping strategies or skills on deck that you can use at any given time. But if you've gone through all 3 of yours and you're still struggling, it is definitely time to reach out for help. You need a coach, you need a mentor, you need a counselor, you need a doctor, a ministry leader. You need to reach out for help because you're on, if nothing is working in that sense, you are on the verge of a meltdown, and you definitely need to get off of that ledge. So if you've intensified and you've switched coping strategies and nothing is working, please reach out for help. And I'm going to drop some links in the description box of some places that you can reach out to, and maybe just some things that you can use as tips for positive coping strategies as well. So if this video was helpful for you, please remember to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up. If you'd like to comment, I'd love to hear from you. I'll be back soon with more, but until then, be proactive about your mental health, be well, and God bless.